Welcome to When Culture Calls, where three worlds have collided. We're bringing girl talk to the main stage while flipping culture on its head with our passionate point of views. You're dialed into deep connections and necessary conversations. Whenever I need someone to call on, I know I got my girls.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to When Culture Calls. I am Amara.
I am Endeshia.
I'm Kalifa.
And this is When Culture Calls. Go ahead and follow us, subscribe to us down below. Each and every one of us have our Instagram handles. Go ahead and subscribe to our channel. You don't want to miss these episodes coming your way. And let's get into today's episode. So, ladies, I'm always scrolling. During this weekend, I was scrolling and I came across a post that stated, "Why is it so hard for men to forgive their cheating partner?" And a man responded and said, "Because a man can't get no pee unless the woman agrees to it. If she cheated, it was never her idea. It was never his idea, sorry." And that just led me to thinking, are men master manipulators? Because for me personally, I feel like with that logic, then men understand that cheating is not something that's innate, which they've been running with that logic for a very long time. So I just wanted to hear you ladies' thoughts on this topic. Endeshia?
I'm genuinely confused by what he said. I don't think I'm comprehending what his statement even is.
Mm-hmm.
So he's saying that it's worse for women to cheat because women initiate it. I'm so confused.
Yes. So because a woman has the power to say, "Here, you can have my vagina. We can have sex." Yeah, it's her fault.
So it's not the reverse.
No.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's master manipulation at this point, because that sounds retarded. Like, it sounds stupid to me. So, like, I think they're just throwing anything at the wall and hoping it sticks and just hoping that, women just succumb to what the normal of... Child, I'm in confusion. I'm trying to follow the logic, how it's more hurtful for a woman doing it versus a man doing it. By what he explained, I simply just don't get it. I just don't get it. So I don't know. At this point, men just want every excuse to do what men want to do, and they should just own it instead of trying to say like, "Oh, well, it's less painful, so we should be able to do it, and you guys should not be able to do it." Just be like, "I don't want my person to cheat on me because it hurts." But then also don't in the reverse try to say that it's less painful for you as a woman to be cheated on. Like, I don't follow it. I don't think it's massive manipulation. I think it's slowness at this point. I don't know. I'm just keeping it a band. It sounds stupid.
Yes. Kalifa?
I'm with Endeshia. I'm still trying to follow his train of thought because I'd never heard it that way before. Most times men are the ones saying that it's more painful for women to cheat only because they have more feelings involved. And I guess he does mean, like, if a woman is going to open up herself to a man, that means that she's thought about it. She's like emotionally involved. Men like to act like they don't have emotions. So they try to master manipulate themselves, not us. They're master manipulating themselves to believe they don't have feelings, to think that they just came in union with someone. Like, they don't want to acknowledge the attraction. They don't want to acknowledge what they're not getting in their relationship and what they're actually going out and trying to seek, whether that's energy, sexual energy, emotional energy, mental energy. They don't want to acknowledge that. They just want to say, we're men, we don't have those type of feelings. Only a woman has that type of feeling. So I think that's maybe where he was going with it. Cheating is wrong, period. It's a choice. So poor guy, poor little Tink Tink. We tried to give you, we tried to help follow what you were saying. But I think anyone who cheats and doesn't own it is master manipulating themselves and no one else.
Can I say this one last thing? Like, I'm sitting here and Kalifa, you just said a word, because I think when we try to say like women are more emotional and men are more logical, like cheating is not a logical choice. Like if you have a person at home and you want the outcome to be a positive outcome and you don't want to hurt your partner and you actually want to be in a committed relationship, cheating is not the logical choice. Like cheating is actually very much emotional. I don't know why men try to avoid themselves. It's emotional on so many different levels where it's either you are seeking attention, you're running away from something at home, you need to be validated. There's so many emotional factors behind cheating where like I'm confused as to why it's only emotional on the woman's part because it's not logical on any part, period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good because I was gonna say, it's the impulse. Like no one would choose to cheat if they let their if they silence their emotion, and with emotion comes impulse, because you know you do anything when you're at high level emotional. So I think if men, like you said, start to acknowledge that, that was good. Yeah, it's not logical, and that's why people cheat, because they're not working in logic; they're working in emotion. So that was good.
Yes. that was a really good. That was definitely a word. And because of that, that's what led me to think that men are just actually master manipulators. For so long I've heard like you gotta train a man, you gotta train a man. And growing up I would think like, well, men are they a little dumb, like they do dumb stuff. But I feel like that's the trick. That like we're tricked to believe that they're stupid, they don't know better, but they actually do know better. And Endeshia, you said that cheating is a choice, and it very much so is a choice. So I couldn't understand what his point was. Because either way, if the guy is giving his body away, that's his choice. That's his right to, well, his right to do so, right? So it either way, his point makes sense for both ends, for woman and man. So I was lost.
You know what's crazy is I think that, we all in the Matrix. I think the Matrix is for us when we growing up. Like you said, people say like men are stupid, but think about it. As women, we create men. We bring them into the world. My son, I don't foresee him to be a stupid man. My uncles, I don't foresee them to be stupid men. If my father was living, I wouldn't see him to be a stupid man. The men in our lives, I never looked at a man in my life who was like, this is a dummy right here. So the fact that we go out into the world and we like kind of cast that thought onto like men who are not our relatives or anything, or our spouses, partners, whatever, I think is also part of the manipulation that we gotta unlearn. Like no one, like we all make choices, and within our time span of our age range, and the frontal lobe and all of those things, I think those are factors. But a 32, 42, 52-year-old man, baby, you've grown up, you know what you're doing. Own it, just like any woman should own it, and move on from there. So men, you're not stupid. You like to play stupid.
Yes. They definitely like to play stupid. And I think that is something that is a detriment to us women. I think that we have fallen victim to patriarchy.
Gotcha, bitch.
Yo, we have to have a patriarchy counter every time.
Yes, we definitely do. We definitely do. But I wanted to ask y'all, do we actually believe that men are leaving their girlfriends though? Like, do we believe that they're breaking up with them right away after they find out that they're cheating? Because I personally believe that a lot of men stay with their cheating ass girlfriends. I personally believe that. It's just that they do not want their friends to know. If their friends find out, that's it. Like, you a hoe. But a lot of men stay. They don't admit it, but they stay. What do y'all think? Kalifa?
It's given high school lunchroom. Like, if they friends find out, like, oh, then you the hoe. That's so funny. I don't know. I really wouldn't really be able to call it, because I don't think in my adulthood, I don't know a lot of men on like a personal level that like really discuss this openly. So I'm not really sure. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna throw it to Endeshia. I'm gonna see what she say. Maybe it will trigger something for me.
I was actually going to say the same thing. I don't hear a lot of men express that they have been cheated on, but we know men have been cheated on. And I think maybe because we don't hear a lot of men express it, that they're possibly still in those relationships. So on my end, complete assumption. I'm just going to be 100% honest. But I don't believe that it's going to be that much different on a man's part than a woman's part. I feel like a lot of women stay, and I think that a lot of men stay too, because there is still an emotional connection. I think that there are people on both ends that can just simply cut it off. But I think a lot of men may stay in those situations if they do find out, and just as well as a lot of women would stay. Emotions be running high, and I think that when men fall, they really do fall hard. So I don't foresee them just picking up and leaving. I think that it may... I think that's when the tit for tat may come, because I think that the male ego, I don't even want to say that it's fragile, because in this situation, I don't think that, oh, you're fragile if you're bothered if your person cheats on you. So I do believe that because it may be fractured in this moment, men will typically retaliate and need something to feel like a man again. And I don't believe that they may leave, but I do believe they may stay, and then a cycle may form. I don't know.
Yeah. I actually listened, of course, to some interview or podcast recently. The guy was saying that, I don't know if it was a movie or whatever, but basically men, if they do have a transgression, they would rather their woman cheat too. Like if they cheated and the woman found out and she didn't cheat, then they will feel more like, oh my God, like what's going on? Like they would feel more guilty, but I think it makes them feel less guilty if the woman actually goes out and cheats. So they, like you said, Endeshia, it's like that tit for tat thing. Again, this is just from like what I heard on like a show or something, or a radio discussion. I don't think anyone, I mean, we would all like to think we would get up and leave right away. Like, oh, you cheated, I'm done. I'm leaving like the next day.
Damn, I want to see other niggas.
What?
It don't work like that.
At all.
It don't work. It's like you said, it's emotion. It's a process. So sometimes you might think like you can rectify it. Sometimes you think like, oh, I'm just waiting on her to do her wrong so I won't feel as bad. Or sometimes it's like the man cheated because he's insecure. He's not getting something he wants. And then he wants to bring it to the table. And the woman might not push him away, you know? I think men, they like to be led too. So I think if the woman is giving them hell or whatever, they will feel more better. They would be like, okay. But if she's not giving him hell about it, they would feel guilty. They wouldn't know what to do. They'd be like a lost puddle in the relationship, just waiting. And they can't take that because they don't know how to tap into the emotions. So imagine a woman has more control. And that, you know, I don't want to get on a rant, but that's just where my mind went.
No, that was actually good. I wouldn't say that I know a lot of men, but high school days, so teenage boys back in those days, a lot of the boys that I was around, high school friends, boys that live in my neighborhood, my brother's friends, I know that they would stay with their girlfriends. They would trash up.
She smashed the homie.
Wow.
She said she smashed the homie.
Wow.
Danger! She smashed the homie.
But they would stay with their girlfriends. But it only became a problem when the friends knew. And I think that, obviously I don't speak for all women, but I think that's one of the biggest issues that women have with cheating is that they don't want to be embarrassed. And I kind of feel like it's the same thing for men as well. They now I'm not saying that means that we are okay with cheating. No, cheating is absolutely 100% wrong. But I think that a lot of people really feel the hurt because they feel so embarrassed. I think that men are just good at not telling their secrets. So that's why we think they are as strong as they try to make it seem, but they're really not, because they just don't speak about it. But they be hurt and they stay.
They definitely be hurt.
I feel like this definitely was a conversation that was going around. So I'd be interested to know what our viewers think. What do you think? Are men staying after they're getting cheated on, or what? Let us know, dudes. Let us know.
Yes, I wish we had a male host so we could talk about this with him.
I think that would be dope. And you know, I wanted to say this. So we had asked a group of men, just being open and honest, like if they were to cheat on their woman, would they want their woman to stay or go? Unanimously, Okay, I need to like make this clear. Unanimously, it was probably like 10 to 15 guys. They all said that the woman should leave. And I was in shock because I was just like, wait, hold on. I thought this is what y'all wanted. But they was just like, they would actually prefer the woman to go. And each man like explained their reasonings as like, some was just like, they believe that the woman is going to retaliate. Some people were just like, if you allow a man to cheat on you, then you don't even like, find self-worth in yourself. Like they actually had like real reasonings as to why a woman would go, even though in their real life, they would probably try to convince women to stay to feed their actual ego. But they're just like, if I was to cheat on my woman, I would actually want my woman to leave. I thought that was the most interesting like poll I think we've ever done on Clubhouse. Kind of crazy.
Is that master manipulation? Because you want her to leave. Why you didn't leave?
That part.
Why you not leaving? Why you not picking on her? She got to be out here crying. Like,
but a lot of men don't leave relationships. Typically, when relationships end, women would leave first. Like, even when it comes to divorce, things like that, like, women would typically leave. Like, and typically the women are pushed to leave. There are times where women stay in relationships and you see the man doing the same thing over and over and over and over. He's literally telling you to go. Like, I don't think that, like, sometimes I feel like a man, like, actually wants the person to go so they can do what they want to do, but their ego is just like, you shouldn't leave me even though I'm hurting you.
I hate you. I'ma have me a man, boo-boo.
Like, it's a weird kind of, like, dynamic, but when we asked all the men and they gave all their reasonings as to why a woman would leave, I was actually surprised. I was actually shocked. I was just like, unanimously, all the guys was just like, yeah, she should go if I cheat on her.
Yeah, but I think that's also, I think that's a power thing, because some guy, I'm not gonna say who it is, but a male, he told me that he like, yeah, I'm done with this relationship, whatever, yada yada. She's not giving me what I desire. Like it's not reciprocated. All of these things, and I was like, but she wants you, so she's not gonna leave, and you staying is affirmation for her that it is worth staying in the relationship. I feel like if you have those feelings, you should own it, and you should leave to make it very clear. Because women, sometimes we like to dot our I's and cross our T's, or at least I, as a woman, would think that we more so are like that. That we like to know for sure type of thing. So if a man, whatever his transgression was or whatever the case may be, if he's staying, that would just register like it's worth trying. That's why I love like women who own it and say like, this is what I want and I'm not getting what I want, and they feel empowered to make those moves. I feel like a lot of women are not empowered to leave a relationship even if it's lackluster, they're not getting what they should be getting, or it's just not working out. They'd stay, like you said, over and over and over again. I think that everyone should be empowered to leave if things are not working out. And I feel like that would make America and a lot of people happy. Just leave. Like, yeah, you could make your plan of action. You don't have to just drop the person in one day. But I think we deserve to like get into that place where we own what it is we feel, and because that could be blocking our blessing. So I think like I said, we are all master manipulating ourselves to get what we want, even when it's not what we should have.
So I have a question. I don't know, Amara, if you had a question, but I do have a question for you two ladies, right? Do you believe that cheating should be a deal breaker for women? Like, do you believe that should be a deal breaker?
Amara, like, what? You go first, Amara.
So when we say deal breaker, like we're in this relationship and I got cheated on.
Yes.
I'm honestly going to say age plays a factor in it for me. The way our relationship was, our chemistry, all of that plays a factor for me. So I'm not going to necessarily say it's a deal breaker. But I'm trying to, how do I say this without like saying that I'm okay? Because I feel uncomfortable right now. I feel like if I say that it's not a deal breaker, I'm saying that it's okay for me to be cheated on. And that's not what I'm saying.
I don't think that's what you're saying. That's not how I receive what you're saying.
Okay, good. Because I feel like I would, depending on all the nuances, I would give my partner a second chance. but there's a number of things that play a part to me. It's yeah. That's a tricky one. So I don't even know how to answer that. I don't
What do you
want
think,
to.
Kalifa?
She like, don't put me on the stand. This is not part of my testimony. In a perfect world, it should be a deal breaker. Yes. But
Okay.
as we just talked about it, it don't be working like that. I think that I think it's not going to be a deal. I think for some women it would be a deal breaker. And that's kind of one of those non-negotiables. Now, like I said, in the perfect world, I would want my daughter, I would want my son, I would want everyone to be empowered to be like, no, this is not okay, and move forward without that person. But it doesn't work like that. And I don't think I think everything is situational.
Yes.
If now I'm not about to put myself in that situation. I ain't even gonna curse my life like that. But I don't think it's I think it should be a deal breaker. And I feel like if it was a deal breaker, it's kind of like law, right? If you break the law, you get those repercussions. I feel like it should be a deal breaker. And because it's not a deal breaker is why a lot of us go through so much. Not a lot of us, I rebuke that. But why a lot of people go through so much because they don't have, it's not law for them. It's not like, oh, if you cross this boundary, it's done. I feel like maybe we should approach things like that to get more so we don't have to go through, those things that we go through. Not they, whoever. But you get what I'm saying. Like, in a perfect world, yes, it should be a deal breaker. However, it's not, and we're imperfect. And I ain't gonna hold you. If my husband cheated on me, would I leave him? Listen, I got 3 kids. I ain't gonna hold you. Like, hold up, we gotta figure some things out because you're not gonna single mom me.
Absolutely not.
Like, we're gonna have to work some things out. So let me not even try to play like, and I'm really being honest. It might sound like a joke, but I'm not gonna hold you. My husband cheated on me. I don't know what I would do. I don't really know. I don't know if I would leave him. I don't know if I would stay. I know I would have valid reason to leave him, and I would have the upper hand, and I would be free, and I probably should leave him, right? But I don't know. So back to you, Endeshia. What would you do?
For me, I think that women should, and I think I agree with Amara. It depends on the predicament, because like you saying that with 3 kids, should this woman leave if it was the first incident? I don't believe so, because again, I don't want to see homes being broken if it can be reconciled. If it can be reconciled with honest effort, then no, in that situation. But if you are boyfriend, girlfriend, and you are in a relationship with a man who can't even show you that he is like even capable of being committed to you, that boyfriend relationship, no. A marriage, and I think that is even worse for it to be done within like a covenant of a marriage. But at the same time with that, there are a lot more different things tied to you guys' union, where I believe it may be like a second or third question, but I do still believe that it should be a deal breaker in a perfect world, because I think it would prevent others from just like being outside, quote unquote, like stay inside, like stay inside with your person and y'all be inside together. I just feel like it would minimize a lot of like, emotional distress. It would minimize a lot of broken households. It would minimize a lot of like, it would minimize a lot of different things within our community. But again, humans are gonna human. I don't believe all humans cheat, both men and women. So hopefully you find your person that doesn't. But I do believe that in the perfect world, it should be, but circumstantial, because marriage and just boy and girl relationship is like completely different.
Do we think we should set a number for cheating? Like what's the age you stop at? What's the cap? Because I think that
28.
Hold on. I was gonna say that because I did say age plays a part in it, because I think that at my big age, 31, me dating a 31-year-old, you know better. You know better. So I don't
agree.
think what is there to discuss about you cheating? You know exactly the steps that you took that led you to putting your penis in somebody else's body.
My husband had a terrible accident. He tripped and fell and landed in his co-worker's vagina.
So I just think that like there should be a cap for cheating though. Like not everybody doesn't get that excuse. You know better.
28.
Oh, 28.
I think that one, I do not agree with it. I don't condone it. I have never participated. Like I am very much like if I can hold it down and I can't cheat on you, you can do the same for me. I that's just how I feel about it. But I think 28 realistically is a great number. I think when I was in my early 20s, there was a point in time I knew my partner was outside and I had to leave. But I feel like until I knew it for a fact, even though I had thoughts about him, like, is he, was he, I didn't. But when I knew it for a fact, I had to go.
What's the smell? What smell? It smell like bussy, booty, dick, and pussy.
But I feel like he was still young. I feel like I definitely I didn't show grace, but in my heart, I was like, okay, this man is young, But I didn't show that to him. But I do understand, like, being in your early 20s, you just outside. But after 28, like, no. You about to be at your big age. Like, if you can't get it together leading into your 30s, I don't believe that there's just like a switch that happens in your I mean, there's probably never really a switch, but I feel like if a man is trying to be intentional about where his life is going, I feel like most people say, okay, in my 30s, I'm more settled into who I am. Like 20s was like the trial and error and trying to figure out who am I as a person. I feel like in your 30s, if you are an intentional human being, then that's something that you would cut out because you understand who you are, where you want to go. So if you're still doing that in your 30s, then you're not an intentional person.
Yeah. Kalifa?
What do you think, Kalifa? Kalifa's like, huh?
I don't think age matters, honestly, because emotion is emotion. It's not like at 30 you don't have impulse, even though you probably should have those healthy habits to know how to work yourself down off those impulses. Like, for instance, I just watched Bel Air, which you guys watch it on Peacock. It's a show, Bel Air, the reiteration of Fresh Prince of Bel Air. And Uncle Phil is a lawyer, and he just got back in contact with one of the women he dated way back when. He's married now, and it's a business relationship. Like, she got back in contact with him because she's a lawyer, he's a lawyer, and she's trying to poach him to come to her law firm. But he didn't tell his wife that he was meeting with her. He kind of kept it on the down low. She found out, and she was like jealous. And I'm automatically, it made me think of like situations where older man or woman could cheat, like in a those work husband, work wives relationship that you hear people talk about. That is something where, like we say, our children spend 8 hours at school more than they spend at home. Our spouses spend 8 hours at work more than sometimes they spend at home. So I just think to say like an age limit or a circumstance would prevent you from cheating. I think human beings can do a number of things, and like I said, a work situation where you're working together with a attractive or whatever person, maybe that might come up. Maybe there's a lot of chemistry. Maybe you work together, and maybe like a radio host, there's so much chemistry, one thing leads to another. I don't know, but I feel like there's so many opportunities for things to happen where 28 seems rather young to say that you're not cheating, because I don't think anybody walks out their house and says, today is the day I'm out here in these streets. Like, I don't think it happens like that.
No, when should it be unacceptable?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I don't think, and thank you for clarifying, I still think it's never acceptable, period. So I don't think age matters. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So I think you could be 68 years old out in these streets. You could be a train conductor, which, it's so many different things. Doctors, like, you could be a doctor.
What about younger people? Because I think that in high school, you're not necessarily emotionally intelligent. A lot of us, well, Yeah, I would say a lot of us grew up in like single parent homes. A lot of us did see infidelity happening. So I think that it does take some growing and learning from life experiences before you could expect I guess like a whole human being. Now even though in your 20s and your 30s you're not necessarily whole, like we're still all finding ourselves and we never stop finding ourselves or looking for ourselves, whatever. But I do think that in your teen years and in your early 20s, it's not acceptable, but it's a little bit more understandable.
Yeah, but that's kind of like what I talked about in like our first episode. Remember, I said like you shouldn't be having babies before 30. It's kind of like the same thing I think about relationships. Like I think if more people dated in their younger ages, like in their 20s, they wouldn't be cheating so much. I feel like people are cheating because they're not finding what they want in their committed relationship when they shouldn't even be committed to that person. Like, you get what I'm saying? I feel like maybe that's how cheating starts, because so much of people get tied down to a person because they think commitment is what they should be doing, when in your early 20s you should be dating. You should be going out with Tom, Sally, Susie,
Teresa, Monica, Sharon, Nikki,
LaQuisha, whoever, Sarah. You should be doing that, but we don't teach. I feel like I was never empowered to date. And I'm happy I didn't date because, I found my little high school sweetheart and we got 3 kids and all that. But I feel like, people should date. And people should date so that I feel like it then wouldn't be a reason for you to cheat, because you got it out your system. You know what it's like over here. You know what it's like over there. You went there. You did that. You did this. Now you kind of know, and you're able to create a home, create a commitment. I feel like so much of us don't date, which is why we end up cheating, because if we dated, we wouldn't be ending up cheating, in my mind. Like, that's my rationale.
I don't think so.
Sense, but
I get what you're saying, but I don't necessarily think so, because I do believe in like experiencing relationships. I don't think that you just date, get into your first relationship and then you got it. Like, I don't believe that is it. But I don't think that that's a real thing. I don't believe that you are the first relationship that you get into in your 30s if you've just been dating all along. Like, it's just going to be all peaches and cream. I do believe that it is good for both men and women to experience like those things that you like and don't like within a partnership, and then also figure out, okay, is this something that I, can see myself in? I think that there should be a time frame. There should still be a sort of like trial period where you guys are quote unquote exclusive, but actually in a relationship and figuring out how to like mesh well with each other. But this whole I'm just single and then I'm just gonna wake up and find my wife. No. For most people, no. Because dating is just like very surface level. Like, I don't think that there is this, when you become vulnerable and like open with a person, how are you still just dating? Like, there has to be another natural progression in a relationship. So I don't know. I wouldn't trust meeting a person in their 30s talking about they've never been in a relationship, but they feel like they're ready because they've been dating all their lives. Hello? No, I wouldn't trust it.
Yeah, I totally agree with Endeshia. I think that there is a certain level of thrill that you get from consistently dating. And I think in real relationships, you get the understanding that it's not always thrilling. It's not always happy and exciting. Like, there are downsides to being in an actual relationship. And while it's the beauty within everything within that grows the relationship, but it's not something that's always peaches and cream. So I think that in dating, you don't necessarily have to deal with the downside. So people get into these real relationships and think that they're ready. When real shit comes their way, they're like, whoa, I wasn't expecting this. This is too much for me. And I think, honestly, that's one of the reasons, too, why a lot of men don't like to fall, because they know that it's a lot more that goes into just how they have sexualized and visualized us for years. But before we go, I do want to quickly do a hang it up or dial it in. Hang it up is thumbs down, dial it in is thumbs up. And I wanted to ask you ladies, if on a date a man tells you that his last relationship, it ended because he cheated, do you hang it up or do you dial it in? Endeshia?
I hate this. I think age again matters too. Like if we're, I mean, I wouldn't hang it up. I wouldn't immediately hang it up simply because of that. So I would say dial it in. I would need more details, more context, more like understanding of, did he learn? Did he grow? Was he remorseful? Is this something that he believes that he'll be repeating in the future? How many times it happened? Like, I feel like I would want to know more, honestly. So I would say dial it in is not just a complete riddance.
I'm saying hang it up. And I think it goes back to your logic. Like, you don't just get like be done dating and then come and want to jump in. Like, you know, like okay, like you can't bring your cat litter over here. Like no, like okay. Now the human in me, I know me. I would be so curious to ask all the details, but you're gonna have to go through a few more people before you just stop at me. Because no, hang it up.
Is he a repeated offender? Like, I feel like I need to know more.
We'll know.
Was it a 10-year relationship and he cheated once? Was it like, I need to know, but go on, Amara.
I would say that I would dial it in because I want to be nosy and I do want to ask all the juicy questions that Endeshia was just asking. So I definitely would dial it in because I need to know. But that leads me to thinking like, well, do I believe that once a cheater, always a cheater? And I don't know if I believe that. So I might, yeah, I'll just keep it at dial it in. I'll dial it in.
With that said, I don't believe once a cheater, always a cheater, but twice a cheater, you're always a cheater.
Yeah.
So. I believe that 100%. Right, twice, yeah, you're a cheater.
Yeah.
Yo, y'all being mad hard. Like we in the real world. You really think too?
You said hang it up.
No, I'm hanging it up only because like you're not gonna waste. We don't have to waste our time. Like okay, I'm cool on that. But I don't. I know we got to do. It's like a quick wraparound. We're gonna save this for another episode.
All right. So that wraps up this video. Everyone, thank you for coming in and watching our episodes. Go ahead and subscribe down below at When Culture Calls. Follow us on our personal Instagrams. I hope to see you next episode. I am Amara.
I'm Endeshia.
I'm Kalifa.
And this is When Culture Calls. Bye, guys.
Bye.